He didn't need to look for the number, he remembered it. He walked from row to row, head down, searching. It's been a long time since he was last here. The evening air was not cold, it was a wonderful day. There was no rain, which makes for a beautiful day in England, and the temperature was unseasonably warm. It was spring, and when he walked around the cemetery, I saw crocuses and daffodils. Colors have begun to return after the dull grays and browns of winter. He looked around and saw that there were several people in the cemetery. He was not alone there, but he saw nothing that could bother him and returned to his search. It took a while, but he found another grave. She was buried next to his father, reunited in death. She would have loved it. He smiled to himself as he walked closer. His father died when he was a teenager. The family was struggling, and he lacked a male presence in his life. His mother did not play the fool. She grieved and lived her life. They had a good marriage, and his early years were everything he could have dreamed of. They didn't have much money. No one in their area had money. If you had money, you would live in a different area. Although now everything has changed. He has already walked through his old familiar places. He wasn't worried about being identified. He looked different enough to be recognized by someone who actually knew him. Anyone who knew him well would not give him away. Times and values change, but snitching in this part of the city was, to put it mildly, not encouraged. Especially inviting trouble for a local guy. Especially at him. Stonemore wasn't, at least not at his mother's grave. She recently passed away, recently buried so that the stone could be installed. He wondered who was doing this. He planned to drop by a couple of old friends and discuss it with them. Care must be taken to ensure that there is a suitable monument. She deserved it. She wasn't anyone special. She was just one of a nameless, faceless wave of humanity that came into the world and left it, seemingly without causing any significant change to it. She deserved something good, something people could see in 50 years, something that would scream to the whole world that her life matters, that the serendipity of life was not wasted on it. He saw that her grave was being looked after, her respected in the area. People knew that there were hard times when she lost her husband. Later, the death of a grandson, furor over the end of his marriage to her son. She had it harder than most, and she didn't complain, didn't look for sympathy or special treatment. She just continued to move forward, keeping a good word for the people she interacted with. He carefully placed his flowers among the other flowers that were there. Those flowers didn't look particularly old. Someone was looking after her grave. He squatted down. He wanted to tell her something. Find words. The right words that would let her know that she is important to him. That neither time nor distance diminished his love for her. That he was sorry that everything turned out the way it did. He snorted. What words could do this? She was dead. She didn't care. There were no words that could reach her. The right words were for him, not for her. He grinned and stood up, a faint groan as he stood up. He was in good shape, but part of age is groaning when you sit down or get up. Feeling how the body protests against this movement. I was wondering how long it will take at your place. I was a little surprised that you didn't come to the funeral. He quickly turned around towards the sounder vote. Don't worry, I'm alone. There is no one with me. He looked at her. It was the first time he saw her in the flesh since he then entered the villa and began his revenge. She looked good. She was a beautiful woman. Always has been. But her beauty seemed to have grown. Perhaps it had been so long since he had seen her. Slender, despite the 2 children she gave birth to. The years have been kind to her. It can be seen that the wrinkles on the face have become deeper, the skin looks softer. The smoothness of youth gradually disappears. But she stood straight and still maintained her composure, the beauty that pierced his chest as he looked at her. Talk to me, Terry. He took a deep breath. He felt his heart pounding wildly in his chest. His throat was suddenly dry, and his mouth felt as if he had swallowed ash. You look great, Don. I forgot how beautiful you are. It was difficult to say these words. He felt tears as the corners of his eyes tingled as he looked at her. It's a pity that my beauty is only external, isn't it? He shrugged. I say what I see. You always liked the way I looked. This is true. I'm standing here. It seems like nothing has changed. I still look at you and—" The words got stuck in his throat. He fell silent, looking at the ground, trying to regain his composure. Embarrassed with your weakness. She came closer to him. "I'm so sorry, Terry. I knew that you loved me. I always knew that you loved me." She took his hand. "There is a bench over there. Let's sit down and talk." He said nothing as she led him to a wooden bench, and they sat down. "Wonderful tree," she said. "Yew tree, very often found in cemeteries. Do you know why, Terry?" He shook his head. "This is an old tree, one of the longest living. Oaks, big, mighty trees, larger and more majestic than the humble yew. 300 years to grow, 300 to mature, and 300 to die. This is what they say about oak trees. But yew trees grow slowly. They typically don't get as big or dominate the landscape in the same way that oak trees do, but they just keep growing. In some cases, thousands of years. They will survive the competition. They accept what life throws at them and endure. Your mother taught me about this place. She liked to sit here when she came to visit your father. Over the past few years, I've gotten into the habit of coming with her. She told me about how they used to plant yew trees in sacred places. And because these places were protected, the yew trees could live full lives without fear of being cut down to make ships, houses, or weapons. He turned to her, frowning. "You did not know?" "I'm sorry." She paused, thinking. "I moved in with her after what happened. We always got along well. She always treated me like a daughter and not a daughter-in-law. After what happened, I wanted to make things right. I couldn't change what I did. I knew that my actions caused her a lot of pain." She looked at her feet. "She missed you, Terry." "I know you called her whenever you could. She lived for these calls. One of the things that made her happy. When she heard your voice, I saw her light up. She was sad after the call, but she liked hearing your voice. All I was worried about you for a while. Where were you? What were you doing? Will you get caught?" Well, now I'm in your hands. What an irony of fate, isn't it? The great fugitive was caught while visiting his mother's grave. Kind of a cliché. He could hear the bitterness in his tone. "I'm not going to call anyone. You can get up and leave anytime you want." She tried to say something and looked around in disappointment as the words wouldn't come out. He sat watching her, giving her space. "I'm sorry, Terry. I'm so damn sorry. My stupidity, my selfishness, my thoughtlessness caused pain to so many people. So many people have suffered. You weren't the only one who screwed up, Dawn. No one came out of this whole mess looking good. You, me, Ruthie, Darius, Marcel, none of us were good guys. Each of us could do something different. Each of us had the power to stop this. It wasn't just up to you," she cried. He saw how tears fell and dripped on her feet, leaving a wet spot on your trousers. Continuous rain of tears. Her shoulders were shaking, not much, but he could see it. He reached out and placed his hand on her shoulder, moving closer so that they were sitting next to each other. She clung to him and cried even harder. He put his other arm around her and sat down, holding her close to him. He could smell the shampoo she used to wash her hair. Weak, but the aroma remained. He noticed gray at the roots of her blonde hair. It took her a few minutes to calm down. She pulled a small handkerchief from her coat sleeve and dabbed at her eyes before putting it back. "Thank you." He moved away from her slightly, and she sat down on the bench. They both looked outside. The bench stood under a large yew tree, too wide for a person, even a basketball player, to wrap his arms around. It was located at the top of a small slope. Further down the slope, there was a small church that was in charge of the cemetery. Below, in the direction they were looking, was the city, and in the distance was the bend of the River Thames, as it left the capital and was turning rather at the mouth than in the river. "Your mother comes here almost every day to make sure your father's grave looks good and take some time to just think. I didn't go with her every day, probably most of the time, but not every day. I liked the time, come rain or shine, to sit and think. This doesn't sound like you. You were always busy, kept moving. I know. Maybe if I thought a little more. Stop it, Don. She turned her head at his harsh tone. You can blame yourself forever. We can do anything. It's one of those things that is inherent in being human. We do everything we can to overcome ourselves, imagining something that has never happened and will never happen. I have ruined many lives, the people I loved. Shit happens. She turned to face him. He saw her frown. He heard the anger in her words. How can you say that? Easily. Simple as that, Don. If you knew what was going to happen, would you have played with this idiot? He shook his head. This is a rhetorical question. Of course you wouldn't do that. You didn't think for a second that this would happen the way it happened. This could have played out a million different ways. You could get pregnant, or it could have been a one-time thing and I would never have known. You might start and then stop because you feel guilty. Many different things could have happened. Any of them could have happened. You had a role to play in what happened. Each of us had our own roles. But my role? Yes, you set it all in motion, but the seeds had already been sown. This happened for a reason, out of the blue. This was the sequence of events. Let's say, for example, that instead of you visiting Ruthie alone, I went with you. I would give up my quiet and relaxing weekend and go with you to visit our daughter. Something doable, something simple, something that could happen. If I had met Marcel, he wouldn't have introduced you to Darius. Or maybe he would have introduced you anyway. Maybe Darius would have been at the wedding, met you there and seduced you. Who knows? He looked at her. He looked intently into the depths of her cornflower blue eyes. Look at me, Dawn. It's not just your fault. All of us, every one of us, were included. You need to take responsibility for your role in this, and let's be honest, you were mean to cheat on me. But it's not all your fault. I have my share of blame that I must take upon myself. She looked away. He could read her disappointment. Be a martyr if you want, Dawn. I'm just saying you don't have to be her. It happened. It changed lives. We were all part of it. But how this will happen depends on us. You don't have to beat yourself up forever. Move on, leave it in the past. Everything is over. It is not that simple. Not for me. I have to take responsibility. No, I admit my involvement. I admit that there are things I could do to change our relationship so that you don't want to look outside of our marriage for excitement. None of this concerns you. It's about me and what I could do. I was drawn in. My actions could have led to a completely different development of events. For example, you could be married to Darius and lead a social life. He heard a snort and looked at her. Of all the possible futures, Terry, marriage to that piece of shit wasn't one of them. She paused, thinking for a moment. He was good in bed, Terry. But the difference between you and him wasn't that big. You did it with love, he did it with passion. He was bigger, you had better stamina, he had the power, you had the technique. So why? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The thing is, I know the answer to this question. I've thought about it so much crap that I know the answer. Because I could, because I wanted to. I loved that he wanted me. When we met, I saw in his eyes that all he wanted was to have sex with me, make me. Cute. It won't be easy to get these images out of your head. She grinned. Jerk. He was exciting, unlike you. He was damn confident. She looked at Terry, and he shrugged. She reached out and lifted his head so that he looked into her eyes. He didn't love me. He didn't build a house for me, didn't raise a family for me. He didn't work hard, didn't make sacrifices, didn't put up with my bad moods, my disappointments. You did all this and more, much more, and then you put me to bed and made me feel good. He just did the best light part. And like I said, the gap between him and you wasn't that big at all. I never stopped loving you. I still haven't stopped. He posed no threat to us. He was just fun on the side. A little feel-good. Something extra that I had. I didn't mean to leave you, not for a moment. I did not know that. You pushed me away. Game, Terry. It was a fucking game. It made what I had with Darius a little more poignant. But it hurt me when you pushed me away. Terry took a deep breath of the evening air, replaying their conversation in my mind. How did Mom die? Dawn's head turned quickly. I thought we were talking about what happened between us. This is true, but there are other things I would like to know about. Sorry. Stop saying that. She had a blood clot in her stomach. He blocked the artery. Didn't you know? Terry shook his head. I found out about her death only a few weeks later. I was going to call her, but someone else answered and they told me. They knew she was dead and told me about her funeral and how it went, but they didn't know and weren't sure why she died. She was fine, and then she seemed to suddenly go downhill. One day she had difficulty even getting out of bed, very weak and lethargic. I called an ambulance and she was taken to the hospital. She died before they realized what it was. We only found out about this later. Crap. She didn't suffer, Terry. It was quick and painless. It's often worse. His mother did not like hospitals. She ate well, exercised regularly, and took care of herself. She wrote you a letter, what she wanted to tell you. I'll come by sometime. Please do it. Now that she's gone, this is probably your home. Stay there. I do not want it. You live there. Stay there. Thank you. I was thinking about moving to Ruth, but if I can stay there, I probably will. Your choice. I really wondered where you were going after it all came out. Yes, some complete bastard burned my house down. Terry laughed at the fake outrage in her voice. Yes, about that. Sorry. She turned and punched him in the arm. Jerk. You weren't sorry. No, you're right. I didn't regret it. I was angry. Well, I said it out loud. I was angry. I was angry. Is it true? Gorgeous. I think I play Richard Gere well. He smiled as she laughed at his words. Yes, you are Richard Gere, only in your dreams. He grinned. I was angry, and I decided what I was going to do, and having a house didn't matter. I thought this was a good way to hurt you, as opposed to that damn email and the murder of my lover. Okay, it wasn't the worst thing I've done, but honestly, it was part of the catharsis. Catharsis? Yes, it made me feel better doing it. It was like I was drawing the line. This part of my life is over. Our marriage went up in smoke, and so did our home. Do you see? It kind of works. Yes, it works great. Thanks for this. Glad it made you feel a little better. I'm not sorry, Don. I did what I did. She put her hand on his shoulder. It's over. It doesn't matter. You're right about that. It was another blow at the time. We returned from America after all this fuss, questions, and proceedings, and here it is. My house burned to the ground. The insurance did not pay out because this was done on purpose. Eventually, a developer bought the site. I think there are a couple of houses there now. I'll give you your share if that's what you want. Terry shook his head. I have enough money to get by. One thought came to his mind. Do I owe you anything for taking care of the funeral? No, she had an insurance policy that covered all bills. There is also a monument included. It's paid for. Yes. The text chosen for the monument, but I can probably change it if you want. She fell silent. No. As long as it's respectful, I don't really care. I'm sure I'll see it one day. Give me a reason to come back. Are you going to come again? I'm a runaway, Don. Wanted man. The police would prefer to talk to me a couple of times. Sorry, that was stupid of me. Was it difficult to escape? He shook his head. No, I did it on purpose when you were in the States. 2 black guys cheat and get punished by their husband for this cheating. The cops there didn't care. There weren't any locals there. It was a tourist place. Race problems, problems with cheating wives. You saw the reaction in the media. Half condemned me, half wanted to buy me a beer. But to answer the question, yes, I will move on. I don't think they're actively looking for me, but the sooner I leave the country, the happier I will be. It feels like I'm looking over my shoulder while I'm here. Where are you going? Sorry, I probably shouldn't have asked. For God's sake. The problem is that I don't know. How can you not know where you're coming? Now this is my life. This is how I live. It's horrible. Terry shook his head. No, this is what I want. This is probably what I always wanted, to just wander the earth. What do you mean? Do you remember Kung Fu, 70s TV series? A little ahead of my time. Yeah, smart ass. And my time too. But it was repeated in the 80s and 90s. A Shaolin monk in the Wild West who righted wrongs with kung fu. David Carradine or something like that. Vaguely. This is my life. Only without kung fu and without analyzing mistakes. I go wherever I want. If I want to go somewhere, I go. Just taking my time, putting one foot in front of the other. Careful and slow. I'm not in a hurry. Just enjoying where I am. Where do you live? I don't know. Everywhere and nowhere. Where I go. What? Do you stay in hotels? He shook his head. Damn rare occurrence. I can stay with friends or camp more often. I bought a boat and lived on it for a couple of years, traveling the river networks. I lived in a Buddhist monastery for a little over a year. You? Buddhist? Have you shaved your head, O wise one? 10 years have passed, and after everything we've been through, you're still the most sarcastic person I know. I just had an image of you in my head, dressed in an orange robe, sitting under a tree. I really can't imagine having a bald head. Terry laughed. Well, it happened. About a year and a half in South India. I planned to stay overnight and stayed much longer. Why? I struggled with my feelings, especially with anger. I was very, very angry. I was angry at you for what you did, angry at myself for my response, angry at how things turned out, angry at the whole damn world. I only have one life, and what a mess I've made it into. Were they able to help? It took time, honestly, and a damn ton of work. I left a couple of times, but they brought me to where I am now, and I'm happy. You look good? Lots of exercise, healthy eating, and lots of meditation. I'm outside all day, rain or shine. It's not difficult at all. Quite simple. Yes, I shit in the bushes. I slept in hedges, under trees. I was very cold, very scared. I got robbed. Terry, I live my life, Don. I don't sit at a table, not locked in the house, not doing household chores. I don't communicate with people who don't want to be with me. I do what the Jack Reacher character does in those cheap books. I deal with what's in front of me and I don't worry. Well, maybe a little. This is not like life. You couldn't be more wrong. I see the sun rise and set almost every day. Sometimes I feel pain. I feel good after eating. I eat when I'm hungry and sleep when I'm tired. I live life. I don't beat around the bush in some distant daydream. I almost ran into 10 people today. They were so busy with their damn phones that they almost bumped into me. What the heck? At least I'm here. I know. What's going on around me? I met incredible people, ate wonderful food. Food I've never even heard of. Any women? The question was asked in a quiet voice. Terry turned to look at her and nodded his head. Sometimes. A little. More than a threesome, but not enough for an orgy. I'm not as good looking as your Darius, but for a couple of evenings I had company here and there. Don't humiliate yourself. You are a much bigger man than he ever was. Yes, but I wasn't. Dawn glanced at him quickly. Was. You did not know? Knew that? He struggled after what happened. He probably couldn't handle people's reactions, what you did to him, but mostly with the way people treated him. He hated that they knew what you did to him, deprived his masculinity. About a year or so later, he committed suicide. I'm so sorry, Don. Don't think about me. Don't apologize to me. That day, we returned to the room and realized what had happened. What a day. We had a great time at the spa, me and Ruthie, laughing, gossiping. We returned to the room, and our world collapsed. She looked down, worn out from the ground at your feet. She paused for a moment before continuing. We entered seventh heaven. I don't know if it was the smell or the silence or what, but we knew as soon as we opened the door that something was wrong. They were barely alive when we found them. I went with him to the hospital and made sure he was receiving treatment. Then the police and authorities took us away. It was a real three-ring circus for a few weeks, and then we returned home. After that, I never saw him again. Sorry, I'm lying. I saw him once, about a month before he committed suicide. He reached out to me, wanted to talk. We had dinner together, and that was the last time I spoke to him. I kind of thought that after you left me when I saw the tattoo, that you would stay with him. Did you really think that I was going to leave you? Terry nodded. You had his tattoo. You didn't have sex with me. I saw his photos. I couldn't compete with him in terms of looks. He was younger than me, much stronger, and he had money. He was superior to me in every possible aspect. For weeks before the holiday, I dreaded every conversation I had with you, because I thought in every one of them you would walk out the door and leave me. Terry, Sorry? Yes, I know. It was a shitty period in my life. I never thought about it. Damn. That must have been terrible. I loved you. I really did. I really did. I know I behaved wrong, but I loved you. The thought of leaving you never crossed my mind. I wanted both of you. I knew you wouldn't share me. That's why it was hidden from you. But I never wanted to end what we had. So why? Why? Because I could. Like I said, I had the best of both worlds. I didn't think you'd understand. What would you do? Ruthie didn't say anything. I wasn't going to confess. You never met Marcel or Darius. You didn't go visit Ruthie at university. How would you find out? Stupid, stupid woman. I didn't stop, and I didn't think it through. Just a quick excuse. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Dawn, it's in the past. I know, but when I think about what I did, the people I hurt were the people I loved. It wasn't like I was hurting strangers, it was like I was hurting the people closest to me. The job is done and cannot be undone. What you can do is move on and think about what you want to be, but you need to move on. You sound like my therapist. I feel like I'm your therapist. They laughed at his quick answer. Seriously, do you need any help? Dawn nodded. She looked at the backs of her hands, at the veins, at the hairs. I've been getting help since it happened. A little insight into why, a little about how to cope with trauma. Something for, like you said, about coming to terms with what happened and moving on. Fine. Don't you hate me? Terry laughed. No, of course I don't know. At first I was incredibly hurt and felt rejected, got angry, and there were times when I hated you. But over the years, my feelings softened and changed. This conversation will excite them again. In the future, when I think about you, my feelings will continue to change. I'm glad you don't hate me. I was afraid of this, but I think there were times when I hated you for what you did. I can believe it. My reaction was, how shall I say, somewhat extreme. Understatement? Extreme is a good word. Terry smiled. I didn't know if you could handle this. Remember Phil Newman? Yes, vaguely. The team leader you spoke with? This is the same one. Remember his story about a children's toy? He watched as understanding appeared in her eyes. He nodded and smiled at her. He was a proud father. Really cared for his child, did anything for him, and I remember when Ruthie was born, talking to him about being a father. We talked a lot about this. I wanted to be a good father, and he was what I thought was one. I remember asking him about discipline and how he achieved it. Dawn raised a finger to stop Terry. Let's watch, and is this a story? He told you about how he stepped on one of his son's favorite toys when he was misbehaving. That's it? He insulted his grandmother, Phil's mother-in-law, and did not apologize. Knew he was wrong, but his attitude was kind of, fuck you. I remember this story. Phil said, take your favorite toy, and it was a plastic toy. Transformer, metal and plastic. It's right, the kid brought a toy. Dad looks at him, puts her on the floor and stomps on his work boot. It breaks into pieces in front of a child, without warning, without alterations. There is no second chance. Phil said it better, said it was traumatic. The kid's reaction was overwhelming, but he never, ever doubted Phil again. And he never offended his grandmother. Here, I understood. You stepped on my toy. I tore the bastard to pieces and left it for you to find. You knew I did it, I wasn't hiding. Left you my ring to make sure you knew. He trampled it, crushed it, and left you to pick up the pieces. Literally and figuratively. Before this, one evening I was sitting at work and thinking about how I could deal with what you were doing. I was in pain and bad. I decided what to do and what I would like my life to look like. I remembered Phil, and bam, I had my answer. Break your toy. So, I smashed it, broke it so you couldn't play with it anymore, and then I gave it back to you. Phil's son learned the same lesson. What was funny is that now I think about the conversation with Phil. I remember telling Phil that he was bloody cruel at what he did, and he agreed. Said it was one of the hardest things he's ever done. He knew how much it would hurt his boy, but it was right. Taught him a valuable lesson. Doing that with your toys was the hardest thing I've ever done. He could see her sitting there, struggling to process what he had told her. He patted his pockets and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. He offered them to her, and she made a face. He lit a cigarette and took a deep breath. I didn't think you smoked. I didn't smoke for you because you hated it. I still don't like it. A foul-smelling habit. And it's killing you. She shook her head. Drop it, please. As if you care. I care. I know I did a really bad job of showing it, but I loved you. I still love you. Yes? Yes, Terry. Yes. I still love you. I don't know if you know, but we're still married. Only because you can't find me to give me the divorce paper. No. If that were the case, after 7 years, I could declare you legally dead and end the marriage. I don't want a divorce. No? What do you want us to get back together? He laughed. No, I don't think that, given everything that has happened, we will succeed. You think so? She looked at him and saw a smile on his face. Listen, just because we're not together doesn't mean I don't think about you. I still love you. I miss you like crazy. I'm still your wife because I want to be. Not because I have to be, but because I want to be a wife. I talk to you every day. Stupid. Marriage is for life. I screwed up. I screwed up our marriage. That was my fault. I know we're not a couple, but I still want to keep this connection with you, and I won't be the one to break it. Don't be stupid, Don. You are still young and beautiful. Do not give up. Find a good man and become his ideal wife. Your first marriage may not have worked out well, but you only have one life. Make yourself happy. Despite what happened, you don't deserve to be sad and lonely. Nothing can be changed. There is no second chance. There is no return. I've never been with anyone else, just you and Darius since we got married. Don't act like a martyr, Don. You can have a long and happy marriage. Maybe no kids, but a damn happy life. I'm not pretending to be a martyr. I'm happy with my life. I have my regrets and there are things that could have been better, but I'm not unhappy. I don't need another man. If you want a divorce, I will sign the papers for you. Do you want to get a divorce? He shook his head. No. I wish things could be better between us. We have a good history, and the way we parted really highlights a lot of the good things that came before. For me, this conversation is the beginning of awakening those pleasant memories. She glanced at him quickly. Do you think we have pleasant memories? Hell yes. I loved being your husband. Well, almost until the very end. I was damn proud to be your man, Ruthie's father. I'm glad, Terry. We're back there, okay? I don't hate you. I don't want you to think badly of us. What happened, happened. Remember the good times? He smiled weakly back at her. He put out the cigarette butt and threw it aside with a flick. And do you smoke a lot? Most of the time, no. Sometimes I tend to indulge my weaknesses. Give up and then start again. Give up again. Unpleasant. Life is uncomfortable. Just like Buddha said. Do you believe in all this? To a large extent. I don't believe in the religious side, but as a philosophy I do believe. The conversation turned to silence, and they sat looking into the distance, thinking about the different things that were said. So, you haven't had sex since... I haven't met anyone with whom I would like to have sex. Wow. I know. If you had told me before I left for Florida that I wouldn't have sex for another 10 years, I don't know what I would do. Probably would have half-killed Darius with her lust. Dawn laughed. Terry looked at the genuine amusement on her face. I miss you, Terry. I miss you very much. I think that's the hardest thing about all of this. You were always behind me. Knowing this gave me confidence. I miss that. Just to talk to you if possible." He shrugged. "Understand. But I don't want you to think that I hate you, or worse, that I don't care. I want you to know that you are loved, appreciated, and missed. Thank you." They sat there and Dawn reached out, taking Terry's hand in hers. She squeezed him gently as they sat like this, enjoying the silence, the sound of the last birds settling in for the night. A motorcycle heard in the distance. "How are your parents?" "They are alive. We don't really have much in common with each other. My email?" "Yeah. Darius was black, and they didn't like it. Much has been said. We talk from time to time, but our relationship is tenuous at best. You were never close." "No, they weren't." Terry looked around the cemetery. It's hard to break this habit. He never had to run away to avoid capture, but that didn't mean he stopped keeping his eyes open. He got out of trouble several times by being alert, aware of what was happening. Now he sat here. Everything looked good. His spider sense wasn't tingling. "Are you interested in knowing about Ruthie?" He took a deep breath. The hardest thing for him was her betrayal. She was his blood, his family, his daughter, and she was the one who set her mother up with her lover. This was something he still couldn't come to terms with. "How is she?" Dawn looked at him intently. He could see her gaze. "She's in a good place. She and Marcel." "Did they stay together?" The disbelief was clear in his voice. "They are a good couple. They have always been like this. I'm upset that you never saw them together. They really care about each other. I would have loved to have looked at them, but I was never invited to meet her boyfriend. She was worried that you wouldn't like him." "Because I'm her father, or because he's black?" "A little bit of both. Because of the color, she didn't want to bring him to your house." "He's black, so what? I've never been bothered by anything like that." "It's not just that. There is a difference between being with a black man and being with a white man. Don't make faces. I was with both. I know the difference, and so does she. It's not just that you would see his color, but that black men talk to women differently." Terry didn't answer. He didn't know what to say. "I think the way he talked to her would have hurt you. Self-confidence, treating women as property. I think he knew it too, as did Ruth. She wanted you to meet. She really wanted you to approve of him. She was serious about him. Forcing him to set you up with one of his buddies was a really fucking stupid way to handle the situation. She understands. He understands. I understand. It does not change anything. Since then, he has seriously matured. He had to do this. So is she." "Fine." "Wow. No forgiveness." Terry exhaled loudly. "What do you want me to say, Don? Do I agree with what she did? I can't. I'm still mad at her. I understand it. She screwed up. But what I did was even worse." She saw him shake his head and continued to insist. "Hell's teeth, Terry. I was your damn wife. The woman you loved. I was the one who stood next to you and swore to remain faithful. Love, respect, obey, whatever the damn words are. I swore. I betrayed you. Yes, you did it. Your betrayal really stung. It hurt. Very painful. Still hurts. But what she did was worse, or maybe not worse, but it was harder for me to deal with. She was my daughter, my own flesh and blood. I raised her. I gave her everything I could. I didn't ask much from her, but to go and set up her mother with her lover, damn it. I asked for this. It was me who acted during the performance. I was the one who crossed the line. Yes, I won't let you off the hook. You have something you are responsible for, but if she had done the right thing, this wouldn't have happened. All she had to do was say no, or tell me, warn me. But she didn't. She liked that you did it. I was her father, and she liked that you were cheating on me. She laughed at my marriage. You should talk to her." "For what?" Terry heard the contempt in his own voice. The heat he felt at this surprised him. "Because she understands it. Better than me. She knows how badly she screwed up. So does Marcel. They really helped me deal with what I did. She's in the same position I was in before. First of all, you need to admit your mistake out loud." "I don't know what I would tell her." "I told them. I have nothing to say to Marcel. You need to talk to both of them. They are a couple. Divide and conquer doesn't work. He won't want to see me. Think about what I did to him. It was like a bad Tarantino movie. Excessively. Yes, a little too much. But I'm not a psychopath. I know they checked you. Marcel will receive you. They'll both do it. You may have nothing to say to them, but they have a lot to tell you. I bet. I was pretty strong in my disapproval of their actions. I would assume they want to get even. Your imagination is deceiving. They want to fix everything. Give you a chance to meet your grandchildren. Sorry, Don, but I assure you that Marcel is not the father of the children. Did you really do to him what I think you did? Yeah. One of my strongest protests is against their behavior. Wow, I was just struggling to believe it. I saw the list of things you did. Darius told me. He learned some things only after he came to the hospital. Seriously, Terry, they would love the chance to talk to you. Talk to them on the phone. I'll give you their number. Talk to them, see what they say. I think you'll be glad you did. No tricks. Given what you said and the way you said it about what Ruthie did, I think you need to talk to her about something. I think that at the end of this conversation, your feelings will change. I will think about it. Please do it. Not for me, not really for them. This is for you. I hear that her betrayal hurt the most. Give me their number, and I'll think about it. No promises, okay? Fine. Thank you. Give me your phone number and I'll enter their number. And mine too. Sorry, baby. You will need to write this down. There is no phone. How did you call your mother? From phones, when I could find them. Most villages have them. Expensive, but worth it. Damn it, you're not making it easy on yourself, are you? I am not looking for easy ways. I do not want it. I want to feel pain and difficulty. Feel tired and in pain. I want to be alive. Before this, I spent years being treated kindly and I don't want to go back. Working at a desk on a computer, no thanks. To sleep in a bed so comfortable that kings and queens could not afford such luxury and yet never appreciate it? No, to hell with that. Do you remember when you were a child? When you were little and just ran away? Run and run as fast as you can until you can't run anymore, until you're gasping for air, almost sick from the exertion. It was that you were alive. When was the last time you felt this way? When was the last time you lived? He stopped. He wasn't trying to sell his lifestyle. It didn't matter what she thought or what others thought. This was his life, his only life, and he would live it the way he wanted, on his own terms. How long are you going to do this? Every day. Every day for the rest of my life. Don, this may seem rude to you, but it really isn't. At least not to me. I'm a tough cookie. I'm used to it. Any pain I feel just makes me appreciate being alive. Whether it's physical or emotional pain, I can feel it because I'm here and I'm alive. Many other people can't say the same. This rude dream means that I say good night at sunset and good morning at sunrise, and I have seen sunrises and sunsets that would make you cry. I saw stunning beauty and real hardship. I laughed and cried. I'm a happy guy. I always thought I was lucky to marry you, that you were in my life, and then when Kevin and Ruthie. I couldn't believe my luck. He shook his head. He took her hand and kissed the back of it. You hurt me, but you also penetrated my cocoon with which I surrounded myself and my life. You tore me apart, but I felt something. Anger, rage, humiliation, loss, many different emotions. I felt alive. I was reminded that I do not exist as a character in a book or some damn soap opera, but as a living, breathing person. You gave me incredible ups and terrible downs. I don't hate you, hell. I still love you. Don't feel sorry for me, Don. I don't want this and I don't deserve this. Dawn leaned towards him and he hugged her. Hugging her, I felt her crying again. He kissed the top of her head, a gentle kiss. He felt her press against him and felt himself responding to her touch. She leaned back to look him in the face. He saw the question in her eyes, wet with tears, and nodded. For one night, she asked. Dawn brushed herself off and, holding Terry's hand, the two of them walked out of the cemetery. In the morning at dawn? Tonight. Take it away, Letter. We'll have breakfast tomorrow and I'll give you the phone numbers. Mine and Ruthie's. For one night. For one night, but I want you to promise that you will call from time to time. He nodded. I can do it. I loved being with my mom. It helped me feel connected. So now there will be a connection with me. I love you, and if anything happens, I will make sure you are brought home again. For one night. This time it's for one night, but you'll come back and we could spend another night. For one night. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one. 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 Listening